So again, I'm recording this, so please, if at any point you lose my screen, let me know.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what we're going to talk about, we could literally spend 30 to 45 minutes, or we could spend 3 or 4 hours, and you're still probably only going to retain the same amount of information. So I'm going to lean towards the 30 to 45 minutes instead of wasting 3 hours of all of our time.
Okay.
With doors, it's just going to be one of those things. You have to go out. Generally, every situation is different. Every situation is unique. Every door is different. The design is different. The size is different. The style is different. The hardware is different. So it really is, for the first good while that you're selling doors, it's going to be a new experience every appointment. Unlike windows, where you can start to kind of get in the trend and the flow of things. Doors, because they're so unique and you can do so many different things. We have so many different manufacturers and vendors for doors. There's just really no easy way around it. So we'll try to simplify it as much as we can by giving you as much information as you need without overloading you to the point where none of it makes sense. But with the understanding that, we're giving you enough just to know the basics, and then it's just basically on the job training as we go, trial and error, a lot of phone calls, a lot of questions, hopefully a lot of answers to go with those questions in a perfect world. But there's just no way that we can sit down here in 1, 2, 5, or 10 sessions and really give you a complete wealth of knowledge on doors and say, okay, you're ready to go sell doors and you're not going to have any questions. It's just not feasible, and it's not even practical. So like I said, we'll give you as much as we can, as much as you need, with still, helping you be able to retain some of that, so you're not so overloaded that none of it sinks in. And then it's just a lot of as we go, like I said, on the job training. Did I lose my screen?
Yep.
Yeah. Looks like you did.
So that's what we're going to do today, and we're going to touch on the different doors we offer. So that's an important place to start, is realizing we have 4 different door vendors. So that in and of itself, it's great because we can really accommodate the clients and their needs, but it's also complexity that, we really just can't prepare for. So we have Marvin. We have within Marvin, we have Essentials, which is all fiberglass. We have Elevate, which is fiberglass exterior, wood interior. We have the Ultimate doors, which are basically a clad exterior with a wood interior. Those are very high-end doors. We don't generally do too many of those, but we can. If a client, I priced them out the other week for a previous client of mine that has a really nice home, we can price those out. And again, it's just one more tool in our toolkit for us to be able to offer people. But for the most part, a Marvin custom size or anything kind of out of the ordinary Marvin door is going to have to be priced by Lindsay and Jim. So there's just way too many variables, way too many customizations for us to be able to price those on our own. Plus, the whole Marvin system operates on a PC platform. We use iPads, so we can't even access their database from our iPad. So with that being said, we have a couple different lines of Marvin. Generally in Marvin, we can do a hinged door and a sliding door. We have Therma doors, which we can do hinged doors in. We have Provia doors, which we can do hinged and sliding in. And then we have Sunrise, which we can do sliding in. So your Marvin, pretty much on all accounts, is going to be the higher end door. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. The Ultimate will be the higher end door that, the most high end door we have of any of the lines. And that can be sliding or hinged. The Marvin Essentials is probably if it's a standard size door and they want a sliding door without any kind of special colors or anything, then the Marvin door is a great way to go because it's more economical than the Provia. So it's, again, all fiberglass technology, the great Marvin, quality and commitment to, integrity in their products without a crazy price. So that's kind of the Marvin. Therma is a good price point door, but still a very high quality door. Still on the hinged and sliding, on the hinge side. And they still have composite jambs and thresholds, which is where a lot of people experience problems with their doors, is rotting along the sides or the bottom. With Therma, it's all composite. So it's a very high quality door, just at a more economical price point. Then we have Provia, which is definitely the high end indoors. We have hinged and sliding. So if you have a client that wants an economical solution, and that's their main driver, their main deciding factor, Provia probably should not be the first place you go to look at the door. Their doors are quite expensive. They're very nicely made. They're Amish made. So again, commitment to craftsmanship is phenomenal, but they have a pretty good price tag attached to them. Doesn't mean we don't sell them. We sell them all day long. People scoop them up like crazy. But if you have somebody that's, again, looking for price point and quality, that may not be the first place you go. Sunrise, just like their windows, again, we have a very basic door in the, it's kind of like called the Essentials. It's got like white, basically. Very simple, but still very well made. And then we have the V-Class door, which is, again, customizable to a very high degree, very high quality door, but still at a much less price point than Provia. So Sunrise is a great way to go if they're looking for that really nicely balanced price versus value kind of situation. Sunrise is a phenomenal, just like the windows. It's the same exact deal with the windows. Is the quality, the customization is on par with windows that cost $2,600 a window, and they cost half that. Same thing with their doors. Is the Essentials, again, is a very basic door, very, very low price point. But the V-Class door, customizable to no degree, beautiful, high quality, very well made, very durable door, just at a little higher price point, but still much lower than Provia. So that's kind of a breakdown of the doors: Marvin, Therma, Provia, and Sunrise. Like I said, we're going to touch on all of those with, just enough information to make you dangerous, but not enough to make you, want to, have your head spin around and your eyes pop out. So we're going to cover that. And, again, you will have questions. You will have questions when you go into the home. And as long as we can set that expectation and understand that expectation clearly, I think we're in good shape. But it is just physically impossible for me to train you on everything you need to know about doors in any kind of reasonable way. So again, we're just going to touch on them, show you how to build them, maybe show you some things to look out for, and then the rest, we're just going to have to be trial and error. So if we're looking at our firewall, do you all see my screen?
Yep.
Yep.
So we'll start up here because it's I don't know, I guess it's at the top. So that's why we'll start here. So if all these doors are already pre-populated in here for pricing. So we have all Ultrex, that's your all fiberglass. Again, if it's a standard size, that's great. We do have some custom capability here, custom sizing, and that's if it's smaller than 72 inches. If it's larger, we can't do it. So the cool thing about pricing this is if you select your options and whatever else you want in here, I got a price right there of $71.99.
Is Ultrex
so this is very
brand?
Do what?
Is Ultrex that Marvin brand?
Ultrex is Marvin.
Okay.
And Ultrex is all fiberglass. So that's fiberglass interior and exterior.
Because I've got Ultimate, but we don't have. Okay, so Ultrex is all fiberglass.
So yeah, your Ultrex is, well, it's not called Ultrex. It's called Essentials. Ultrex is the name brand of the fiberglass.
Gotcha. So that's just all. Okay, so Essentials is the same as Essentials is Ultrex. All right.
Yes. So we have your all Ultrex, we have your Don Young. I didn't even mention Don Young. We don't do many of them. It's really just for previous clients. But again, if you have somebody that says, I want an aluminum door to match my aluminum windows, Don Young is the way to go.
Okay, cool.
Again, standard sizes, 60 by 80, 72 by 80, 97 by 80, 108 by 80 goes up to a 3-panel. So you just got to make sure you watch your sizes, and measuring is another important thing. We're going to have to cover that separately in person.
Cool.
And then we can even go up to a 12-foot 3-panel. So that's your Don Young. Iron Envy, you don't need to worry about right now. Those are those really nice iron steel doors that I'm trying to get pushed through. Wood Ultrex is your Elevate. Okay, so with the Elevate, we do have the ability to go to some different sizes, more customization, you know, a wider array of sizing. French sliding, like a French door, French sliding is going to have wider stiles and rails. So stiles and rails are the pieces around the frame pieces around the glass. Your stiles are the horizontal pieces, your rails are the vertical pieces. So a French sliding is going to be a sliding door, but it's going to have a wider frame, much wider frame profile, just like a French hinge door. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
So that's your Wood Ultrex. That is called the Elevate line. So anywhere you see Wood Ultrex, that's Elevate. You can see we got a lot of them.
Yeah.
So 2-panel sliding is going to be a much more, probably about half the frame size. So the stiles and rails are going to be much narrower than on a French sliding, even though they're both sliding doors. So again, you got some standard 5-foot by 6'8", 5-foot by 7-foot. You got 6-foot by 6-foot, 6'8". So all these sizes in here, you do have the custom size 82 inches high is what you see right there. So that's all your Wood Ultrex. The next thing we have is the hinged Wood Ultrex. So we have a 2-panel hinged French. So here's all your hinged French. So hinged French means it's going to be like French doors. It's going to be wider stiles and rails, and it's going to be hinged instead of gliding. Gliding, sliding, same thing, just different companies call it different things. So if somebody wants a true set of French doors that looks nicer, that doesn't have certain characteristics, it's more architecturally true, the Marvin is going to be hands down the way to go. And then you have all your sizes in here, 71 by 95.5, custom sizing. That's a 6-foot, or excuse me, an 8-foot door, the 95.5. Hinged patio double. So those are all, again, French door systems, just in different sizes. So if you're pricing anything standard Marvin, standard size, you can do it right here in this door calculator. If you need Marvin Ultimate or something higher end or something crazy custom, that's where you have to call Jim and Lindsay, and they have to build it in the system and price it for you themselves.
That makes sense.
Over here, you're just selecting GBG as grills in the glass. If you're doing anything Marvin, not white, you need to select this box. If you want some sort of finish on the hardware, you select this box. And you can see each time you select one of these boxes, the price over to the right is increasing. That's because it's adding in that element, whatever you chose. Interior wood, SDL, simulated divided light. That's from your terminology sheet. That means it's meant to replicate like the old school lights where they look like individual lights of glass.
Yes, sir.
If you do that, Oh, that's because it's on all Ultrex. So there we go. If I select that, then it adds in, you can't do integrity wood simulated divided lights with an all Ultrex door. So again, there's things built in here where if you want a all Ultrex door, you can't select. See how it doesn't do anything to the price?
Okay, so every time we hit a box,
That's
we need
because-
to make sure that price adjusts in.
Even if it doesn't, then that should tell you, oh, okay, I got something wrong here. So I need to go over here and, oh, it's all Ultrex. I can't do wood individual lights with an all fiberglass door. So I need to select a wood Ultrex door, and now all of these will work.
That makes sense.
See? If we're doing some sort of custom paint or stain on the door, we select this box. And then the last one is Don Young, custom size. That's the aluminum door. Anytime we're custom sizing Don Young, we just click this and it'll change the pricing to custom. But that's how we build Marvin doors, if they're standard, if they're essentials, or elevate. If you get into the Marvin Ultimates, then that's where we need to call Jim and Lindsay.
Okay.
Any questions on that?
So all Marvin doors go up top. Okay.
Except for Ultimate?
Yeah, except for Ultimate. Yes, sir. All priceable Marvins are in that top box.
Yes. All good?
Yes,
Yep.
sir.
So next thing we'll go into is Thermatube. So we have a link right here in the firewall that I'm going to click on. And that's going to take right to doorways. I'm already saved my password, so I'm going to log in. So the first thing I need to do is I need to create a client or customer. So I'm going to go over here and create my name. I don't need to do anything else. You don't need an address or anything like that. So that's all I need to do there. I hit enter, and now I'm going to go to quotes and hit new. Then I go to select a customer, and I'll go into Ryan Test. So there I am. Now I go down to select item right here, doing an entry door. And now I'm going to go to configure. So here's where we select fire rating. That's really, what you're going to do is either fire rating or entry door, which is selected right now. So I'm going to hit that, select that. Here, what's the configuration of the door? Single, double, single with the left side light, single with the right side light. You got all kinds of options, and all you got to do is pick what you're looking at. So for the sake of what we're doing, I'm just going to do a single door. What's my door height? Pretty easy, right? You measure it and find it out. Generally, it's going to be 6'8" or 8 foot. Rarely do we do a 7-foot door. So I'm going to do 6'8". Door width, take your tape, measure the width of the door, select which one it is. I'm going to do 3.0, which is 36 inches. Like I told you before, with the different levels of door, we have Classic Craft, which is their premium. We have Fiber Classic, which is a mid-grade. Fiber Classic can only be grain textured. So one of the first things you want to find out from a client when you're talking to them about doors is, do you want it to be smooth or textured? Smooth is less expensive. If they're going to paint, generally we want to do a smooth surface because they're going to pay more for grain texture that's going to be painted that you're not going to be able to see hardly. So don't charge them more for grain texture in the door if they're going to paint.
Makes sense.
So that's Fiber Classic, only grain texture. There is no smooth option. Smooth Star, as you can imagine, only smooth option. So those are very popular. We do more of those than anything generally. And that's your back doors, your garage doors, your laundry room doors, your rarely front doors. Generally, these are ancillary doors, you know, back patio, laundry room, garage, utility room, some non-primary door. And, you know, they're still very, very well made. They're just not as decorative as the other doors. And then you have a 25 gauge steel and a 24 gauge steel if somebody says they want a steel door. Generally, the steel door pricing is a little bit less. You know, again, I'm not a big fan of steel doors, you know, for a couple of reasons, but they have the options there if you want to build it. So we'll build a classic craft. So I just hit classic craft, right? Oops, backed up. So all I do is select classic craft. It's going to be giving me options. I got American style, mahogany, rustic, oak, canvas. And again, you're just going to have to poke on each one and see which options are available. It's just that simple. Your American style is going to be a lot of your craftsman style doors and kind of crazy looking doors. Really popular.
And when you're building this with the client, I mean, are you guys like all looking at this screen together, kind of going through it? Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
So you would be like, so you would have that conversation with them that, okay, so do you want this smooth? Do you want the, I mean, you know, how do you want your door? That's how you start it. And then you get into the,
Design stuff.
once you're deciding.
I have some door stuff I can send you.
Okay.
Uh,
So, cause yeah, I could just see like getting down a rabbit hole in there and like 3 hours later, you're still building a door, you know, oh, let's look at the classic. Oh, let's look at this. So let's look at, you know, well, hold on.
So again, this is old, but it'll give you some good, at least the first 10 questions
Yeah.
will give you a good foundation to what questions do I need to ask? What am I looking at on a high level when I look at a door?
Perfect. A little bit of good. Have you hired anybody?
Yeah, 2 people.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, so we got that. Are you all still seeing my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Notes.
Okay, I was in actually. Here. So we got our doors. There's not a ton of options, but these are all smooth skin doors. So if somebody wants contemporary, definitely going to be a smooth skin door. Okay, I'll just build this one for the heck of it. No, I won't, because that doesn't give me very many options. So again, this is easy because it's progressing you through the process. See, all you do is select whatever it is. So it's very easy, you know, so you don't miss a step or build a door incomplete. So let's do American style. So you got to pick your glass here.
Okay.
So I'm just going to do low E. Dental shelf is that little shelf that goes underneath the glass. So I'm going to do an American style. Will the jam be factory finished? Generally, yes. Here's the jam type. So primed composite means that it's primed, ready to paint, but it is composite. So it's not going to rot. Wood grain, if you're doing a wood grain door, you need to select the wood grain composite so it matches, right? Otherwise, you're doing prime composite or rot proof bottom. And they're the same price. I don't know why they're two different deals. So either one will get you the same result and the same warranty. Now you choose your jam depth. So I'm going to do 5 1/4. It does change the price a little bit. So make sure you select the right one.
What kind of determines that? Is it like a measurement thing or is it a preference by the client?
Yeah, generally you don't have to worry about this. Jim can change that. It only changes at $40 for the wider ones. Less than that on those from 5 1/4 to 6 5/8. It's only like $6 different.
So that's not going to be like a commissioning issue, right? If we do the low one and then, okay. All right.
Yeah, unless you go and you see somebody has a super thick, like 8, 9, 10-inch wall system, which isn't common. Then you can do the wider jam, but other than that, just leave it at 4 5/8.
Yes, sir.
So I'm gonna leave it there. Depending on what color the door is going to be is what weather strip finish you want, right? If it's going to be a dark door or anything to the dark spectrum of things, do your bronze. If it's going to be a light white door, do white weather stripping, right?
Makes sense.
So all you're doing is selecting these and then going to the next thing. So here, sill family, you got outswing composite, outswing no thermal break. So that'd be like if you're using a garage or a water heater closet or something like that. Generally, it's going to be outswing composite. The last one is public access, no thermal break. So that's again one that wheelchairs and things can go over easily. So generally 9.5 times out of 10, you're going to be outswing composite. What color hardware are you going to do? That's going to determine, do you want a dark bronze or a milled or silver finish? Generally, the dark bronze, even if you're doing like brass hardware or something like that, the mill finish threshold can just look sometimes kind of cheesy and builder grade. So generally, I don't do it. Generally, I do the bronze. Hinges, we're doing the ball bearing hinges, and then you pick your finish based on hardware. So if they want a brass hardware, you're going to do the zinc. If they're doing oil rub bronze hardware, you're going to do the oil rub bronze. If they want brush nickel, you'll do the brush nickel hinges. If they want stainless steel looking hardware, then you're going to use the stainless steel hinges. What you're trying to do, your 3 characteristics that need to match are your hardware, your hinging, and your threshold. Those should all be the same color. Builders do not do that when they put in doors.
Hardware, hinges, and sill.
Yeah, threshold.
Threshold. Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to select oil rub bronze. Hinge, I think I did an 8-foot. No, I did a 6/8 door. So on the 6/8, we're generally going to have 3 hinges. Exterior casing. So again, the question I need to ask when I see exterior casing, what is the exposure of the door? Is the door getting blasted? Is the door getting all kinds of water? Well, I'm probably, if I'm doing a smooth door, I'm going to do primed composite. If I'm doing a wood grain door, I'm going to do wood grain composite. What's the exterior casing? Generally, if it's a brick around the door, you're going to do brick mold right here. If it's siding, you're generally going to do a 1x4. So loose casing, so select loose casing. Here's where you get to your finishes, which you have in your, well, you will have in your sample kit that has been a drama unfolding. When we get our sample kits, you'll be able to show them real life what these finishes look like because you'll have them in your sample kit. In the meantime, hit this search icon and you can see the sample finishes.
Okay.
So autumn harvest all the way to wildflower honey are all stains. Alpine through ruby red are all paints.
So do you recommend one or the other on any particular, so if you do the wood grain door, you obviously want to do maybe a stain, but if you're doing the smooth door, you want to do paint, because you don't want to do grain on a smooth door. You don't want to do stain on a smooth door, right?
You can't do stain on a smooth door.
Okay, so the Fiber Classic is going to be stained and the Smooth Start is going to be paint.
Yes.
And the Classic Craft is,
You can paint a wood grain door. It's just
Okay.
the client's gonna pay more for the wood grain texture for it to be painted, which is, it's really the conversation is like, hey, Jenny, I can do whatever you want, but you're gonna pay a couple $100 more for that grain texture, that grain technology. And if you're gonna paint it, you're not even gonna see the grain unless you're right up close to the door. So I can save you, if you want to paint your door, I can save you a couple $100 by going to a smooth panel system instead of a grain textured system. And, like I said, then you can still paint it whatever color you want and it's not going to look any different.
That makes sense.
okay.
So if you are doing, and if they can select a color based on this, then you just select the colors all the way down. And, if you're going to do a contrasting interior, then you do this and it will adjust the price accordingly. Right? And then right down there, you can see what it's telling you to do. If done selecting colors, hit the continue button. Continue button is that little arrow. It looks like a folder with an arrow in it. Oh, so I have my price up there. That's not the correct price. I'm going to hit finish up in the upper left-hand corner. And now I have my door with what I showed y'all before. Now to get the client's price that we need to put into the firewall, here's the steps you take. So scroll all the way down, go to print, upper left-hand corner. See that right up there? Right there?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to go to cost. See where I did that right in the middle?
Oh, yep. Okay.
So under the prices, right in the middle row, middle column, going down, the prices, I selected cost. It was on like one of these.
Yeah.
So I select cost, then I hit preview, and I got a whole spec sheet for that door that I just built. See all this? And then this is where if a client wants this, you can do one without the price. But this gives you every single detail about that door.
Okay.
Our cost is $13.34.19. That's what it cost us for the door. So then I can take this $13.34 go back over to my firewall. I'll probably just round up because there's some cents on there. Okay, so now I got to add in my install, my labor for, install. I got to trim, caulk, all that junk. So it's a single door. So I got to click single. It's not an 8-foot and we're not custom painting it. So my price on that door, retail without discounts, is $5,047. The only time you have to build and select the hardware, that's the next thing we're going to do. The hardware, when you select single or double, the hardware is covered in there up to $150.
Okay.
So this is the door pricing as it stands. I need to go pick my hardware now. So I click open link to pick handle styles. And that'll take us to handlesets.com. I know I need a lever set or an entry set, so I'm going to click entry sets right there in the middle. I know that they want oil rub bronze, so I'm going to go to bronze tones, and that at least filters out. That narrows it down to 5,000 choices.
Right?
That's far easier to manage.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. So then you just go through here. Generally try to stay, I would take it even a step further. I generally try to stay with quick set unless they want something crazy.
Can you put in price range though, and then block out anything over 150? That might narrow it too. And
You could do that too, or just tell them, hey, we're covering your hardware up to 150 bucks. Anything beyond that, you know, you're going to have to pay extra for it. But generally you can select their hardware out of these fairly easy without giving them 5,000 options.
right.
So I'm going to click on the Tavares right here. So one thing you want to write in your notes, single cylinder. A single cylinder locking system will have a thumb turn locking mechanism inside.
We'll have a thumb turn.
Like a
Yep.
deadbolt.
Yeah, but it's a finger turn. It's not a key.
Right. Okay.
Inside. Yeah. A double cylinder will have a second key inside the house.
Those are very dangerous.
Yeah, they're stupid. Because what happens? People lose the key, so they can't lock it, or they leave the key in there. Because the point is, for a lot of people that want that, is they don't want somebody to break in and be able to unlock the door.
Yeah.
So let's get a key. Well, they just leave the key there, so you might as well just have the thumb turn there in the first place.
Yeah. Well, and then there's
And
also
then
the morons that lock it, or somebody leaves the house, they lock it in the morning, and then the house catches on fire, and people can't get out of their house because they don't have a key to that door, and then everybody dies.
Or worse, there's a fire and the homeowners can't get out.
That's what I mean.
Like,
yeah,
they're panicking, whatever.
Locked, and they can't find a key, and that's even as like home inspectors and stuff will tell you, like, man, this is just, you need to change this. When I was a real estate agent, I would always tell people, like, the first thing I would do is change this lockout because that is just dangerous.
Yep. So we select it. We got the right finish, right? Or bronze. You can see your other finishes here that you can select from. Make sure you select the right one. I'm under 150 bucks, so we're good to go.
Nice.
Smart key, single cylinder. So I click configure because I have to choose an interior handle, right?
Yeah.
There we go. So I'm going to add to cart, and then it's going to ask me for my interior handle. So you run through these with the client. Which one do you like? Again, there's a lot, but you know, are you wanting a handle or a knob? You know, a lever or a knob? Okay, well, this is the one that most people do, you know, left hand, right hand, depending on which way the door is going to open. I'm going to select this one. See, this has all these from in here. So your cart doesn't have, but what they need is this. So basically, I'm going to screenshot this. This is my client's hardware. Screenshot this and include it with the paperwork.
Okay.
And you've just built yourself a Therma door all the way through to hardware.
Cool.
It's a little bit, we're looking at 166 bucks. It's not going to throw the job. You're fine.
Okay. So as long as we're within a very reasonable margin.
Yeah, like $10 to $15, you're fine. Once it gets above that, you need to account for it in the pricing.
Cool. It probably balances out with people that do less than $150 ones. So, okay.
Yeah. And most people, you know, again, they don't select fancy hardware. So we just built a Therma door. Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions on that?
No, sir.
I'm gonna have to leave pretty quick because I have an 11 o'clock appointment to look at some carpet.
Okay.
So the next thing is the sunrise door. So here again, we just use that link. Remember with Sunrise, we can only build gliding doors. So I'm going to go to create quote in the upper right-hand corner. See that up there? I'm going to select ultimate client experience. Measurement type, I'm going to customer reference is Houchin. Salesperson is you. Don't worry about anything else. I'm going to click add. First thing I do, select a category, V-class. See that, third one down? Select a part. So here's where I told you, we got the Essentials patio door. That's your bare bones, white only, you know, very simple, but still well made. But it's the more basic, you know, in terms of the design features and the price point. So if you got somebody in a rental or somebody that's like, hey man, we just want to replace this and we're trying to fix it to move. Well, this is your solution. It's still going to be good. It's still going to be good for the new homeowner, but they're not going to overspend on this door if they want just white. The other option is the same build process, so we're not going to build both of them. The other option is a V-class their V-class door. So you got to kind of scroll down. See it, V-class sliding patio door. So I selected that, then I click add. So quantity is your quantity, call size, meaning it's a standard size. So if you know that your measurements spot on are standard, then you can use a call size. If not, you're going to have to put the width and height in automatically, and that's basically saying you're getting a custom size door.
Okay.
So if say we're using a very common standard size, which is 6.068, see how it populates it? So that's how you can check your measurements, saying, okay, from basically trim to trim, do I have 70 and 7/8 wide? And then from my height, my subfloor to the top of the door, do I have 79.5? If you do, and both those measurements line up, you can use your call size or standard size door. If not, you need to put the measurements in exactly, and then it will give you custom size pricing. Line item comment is kitchen, door, pool room, master, whatever.
Gotcha.
And then I hit add. So outside operation means I'm outside the house looking in, right? OSLI, outside looking in. Which way does the doors work? So this gives you a little cheat sheet. So let's just say I'm looking at the door, the right panel sliding left. Remember, we think it O operator. It's not. X is the operator. So if I'm outside the house and I'm looking at the door and the right panel is moving left, I got an OX.
Okay.
Painted exterior. So again, with this V-class door, you can do all kinds of crazy customizations. Painting is a 2-panel. Base color, what color do you want your inside to be? Well, I want it to be English walnut because that's what my floors are. So my interior is going to be English walnut. The exterior is going to be white that's getting painted. Exterior paint is going to be my iron ore. Do I want blinds?
Do these put the blinds between the glass, right?
Correct.
Okay. And then
So you got to be careful if you're not doing a white door because the blinds are always going to be white.
Gotcha. Okay.
So you just have to be careful about that. Handle set finish. I want some, it's iron ore, so I'm going to do nickel. No additional handle set. I got my OptiView screen. Key to like cylinders. That's if you're doing multiple doors. So if you're just doing one door, it doesn't matter because it's only going to have one key, right?
Right.
So I got my door completely built, and it'll prompt you if you forgot something. Here's my inside view. Here's my outside view. See that on the right side over there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Here's both views.
Cool.
And then up above there, I can do my price again here. So this is going to give you all your specs.
So you can just kind of copy and paste that. Well,
Or just use it as a
like a
sheet to
lot.
write in your work order.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but see, my price is 1936, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So what I want to do is I want to hit. I just canceled it.
All right. It was
I wanna hit-
1936.
I want to hit add to make sure that I got everything populated. If you hit add and you don't have everything populated, it'll prompt you saying, "Oops, you forgot the glass. Oops, you forgot the interior color."
Oh, cool.
So it's a good checks and balances just to carry it through all the way to that point to make sure, okay, I got everything, and that 1936 is my actual price. Okay, so now I got everything I need out of Fenavision, so I can go back to my firewall, my sunrise door price. So again, adding everything that needs to be a part of that door, my door price is 7304. Now it seems like a lot, but if we built that same door with Provia, we'd be probably around 12 or 13.
Yeah.
So that was with a wood interior, like I did on my window in my kitchen, blinds in between the glass, nice hardware. I mean, that's a legit door. That's a flagship door. And, it's going to end up costing probably what, after discounts, like 5,800.
Yeah.
So that's where you can build a really, really, really nice designer door, high quality, all the efficiency of Sunrise with the air infiltration ratings, cardinal glass.
For about
But-
half the price of.
Yeah, it's going to be less than half the price of Provia.
Yeah.
And it'd be hard to convince me that Sunrise door is half the quality of Provia's door.
Right.
So that's how we build our Sunrise door.
And this is, and all these come with tempered glass and the cardinal glass on these doors. They're not nothing we need to add on that. The glass that's in them is already safety rated and everything for these.
The only glass that isn't cardinal is Provia,
Oh, okay. Interesting.
which is another reason why I'm a little. Okay, so that's Sunrise. Now with Provia, it's just through the app,
Yeah.
it couldn't be any simpler. So I go to doors, I can do hinged or gliding.
Oh, yeah, that app is.
If I do sliding vinyl patio doors, patio door designer, I got 4 levels of door. Ecolite is like your essentials. So it's like I'm moving, I'm flipping this house. I want the most economical door you can possibly imagine. I only want white. That's going to be the Ecolite. And with this, you just take it all the way through. The Endure is the next step up. No, excuse me. Aspect is the next step up. Then Endure. And then Eris is like the flagship. So Endure is what we do most of. Say I'm going to do a 2 light. I'll do a 3 light. Which way do I want the doors to operate if I'm outside looking in? OSLI. I want this to happen. No side lights, no transoms. Okay, next. Standard size, is it standard or custom? If one of these sizes don't work with your tape measure and their opening, then you're doing custom. For the sake of what we're doing, and in fact, I need to get going, I'm just gonna do 107 by 80. Hit next down at the bottom. Look at all the colors you got. So I'm gonna say I want a rustic bronze outside, and I want to do that dark oak inside. So I got my colors, I'm good to go. Jam pocket inside, since I'm doing a darker color, I want sandstone, right? I don't want that to look white inside. So I got my dark color that I want for my jam pocket. And then I click next. This is the glass you're going to do 90% of the time. DLA UV means dual low E argon UV protection. It gives you an R value of 4. If they don't, I don't have my price showing. If they don't, if the door is under a cover or in a patio and it's not getting blasted by sun, you can go down to just the DLA glass right here, and it'll save them probably $300-400.
Huh.
So that's, again, I think that should be on the list, is what kind of exposure is this door getting? Year round, hot, cold, all times of the year, you know, does this sun take on an extreme amount of stress from the environment? If it does, go with the UV glass. If it doesn't, if it's in a patio, if it's under a porch cover, if it gets absolutely zero sun because of trees, then, you know, save them $300-400 and let them know that you can go down to the dual low E argon glass without the UV protection. If you want blinds, you can collect blinds, blind colors. Say I'll do tan because that's going to look best with my door. Glazing system, we'll just keep it the way it is. Screen mesh is, Sea View is the better of the bunch. Heavy duty is like a pet screen. Aluminum's actual aluminum instead of nylon mesh. So I got all my options. I'm going to click next. Hardware, I would definitely want this kind of Arison modern, this one. So I'm going to select that. AccuVent color is the little locking system. There's a sample of these on the actual sample. It's a newer technology compared to the foot bolt. The foot bolt can handle about 400 foot-pounds of pressure. That this AccuVent locking system can handle about 800 foot-pounds of pressure.
Okay.
So that you want to choose usually to match your hardware.
Makes sense.
Don't need to worry about perimeter accessories. Jim does all that nonsense. What kind of trim? Generally, sliding doors don't have trim because they're set back into the wall. They're not set flush with the interior. So very rarely are you going to do casing on a gliding door. So I'm going to hit none. Don't need jam extension. That's all Jim crap. Don't worry about it. Next. So it gave me a price down there. See that 15 grand? So I know that I have everything built to make this door, and that price is accurate.
Okay.
So 15,859. If I want to, I can come back to my firewall. And add that to my pricing, just like all these others.
That makes sense. All right.
But again, there's just, each one of these is pretty intuitive. Like one, it won't give you a price unless you have built the door completely. And it won't let you mess up on things, right? It won't let you do something that it can't do. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
So other than you getting in there and getting your fingers dirty and, you know, playing around with some different door options, building some hinge doors, you know, it's just as easy. It's just, one, you got to ask the right questions and you got to kind of know what you're doing, you know, to make it all make sense. But again, you know, we could sit here for 2 more hours building stuff, and it just, you know, until you get out there and do it on your own, you just in one ear out the other.
Yeah. Well, it's just, yeah, and it's impossible to cover all the variables that you're going to have at every appointment. So it's yeah, it's going to be being in it to learn some of it.
So I'm going to go ahead and stop the